Hey guys, it's Robin from Roaming with Rover. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, let you know what's going on. So, we are sitting in Seattle, getting ready to get on the ship to go on our cruise. And I wanted to say hi and bye all at the same time. We had a great trip over. We've been so busy the last few days. You guys know how it is when you're getting ready to go on a vacation. There's a million things to do, and you've got your checklist, and the more things you check off, the more things you add to it. By the by, before I forget, Miss Dana has put out a wonderful video about the Christmas ornament exchange, and I will link a copy of the video below. And so make sure that you go and watch that video. If I can, I'll put it up above. I'm not great at that. No, in fact, I know I won't be able to because I don't have my computer with me, and I can only do that if I have my computer. So it'll be down below in the description box. So make sure that you go and watch that video. It's a well done video. I'll be doing my own video about the Christmas ornament exchange once I get back. So early October, I'll be watching for mine. But hers says it all. So go watch her video about the Christmas ornament exchange. It's going to be really fun. So yesterday was a great day. We got up super early, and there are 6 of us going on this trip together. We've been planning this trip for 2.5 years, I think. Maybe even longer than that. Maybe even 3 years. I don't know. It's been forever. And so it was going to cost us a lot. It's the silliest thing. It's very tricky to fly direct from where we are to Seattle. So it actually was more cost effective for us to rent a vehicle and drive over to Seattle. And it's because our cruise leaves out of Seattle, but it docks in New Orleans. So we couldn't drive over our vehicles and then drive back. So that made it trickier even. So with all of us and all of our luggage, we rented a 15-passenger van. That was something. And it's hard to find one. So we found one through budget. So Mr., of course, being an over-the-road truck driver, he's like, no problem, I can drive that thing. So, quite early in the morning, we were up at the crack of dawn. Of course, Kitten decided that 5 o'clock in the morning was plenty of time to be sleeping. So she got us up, and it was time to get up anyway. So we got up and left quite early, went to pick up the van. It took an hour at the rental place to pick up this van. And the whole point of renting the van was so it would have tons of room in the back for all of our baggage. So we get this van, and the seats went all the way to the back door. And there was no way to fold the seats down. So right off the bat, we've got a problem with that. Well, we can't take the seats out because we're dropping the van off in Seattle. And so Mr. had to remove one of the seats and then flip it over and leave it sitting on top of one of the other seats. So there's hardly any room for storage and you can imagine how many suitcases all us women have. So right off the bat, we're messing with that. So we go all over town, and we're picking up woman after woman after woman, and we're trying to fit these suitcases in. So what we end up doing as we get to each location is I'm crawling into the way back and dragging suitcases over these seats. Oh, that was a joy. So we got the first few in that little area that he had created. Basically, that was our junk. And then after that, I'm literally dragging suitcases over the back seat and stacking them in let's see, we were in the front, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So we were dragging suitcases into the 4th row of seats and stuffing them into corners and cubbies, and that was not fun at all. But luckily, it only had to happen once. So just as we put people in And then when we got to the hotel in Seattle, we just drug them back up. That was harder, dragging them back over to get them out of the van. And once we were in Seattle, and that was done. That's the only time we have to do that. Because we will fly home from New Orleans. So that's not a problem. But so that was actually probably the worst part of the whole thing. And so that was driving around all over town, picking everybody up, and then hit the highway. And because the freeway, because we took off, well, it wasn't that early by the time we got everybody picked up and, rearranged the seats on the van and everything. It was probably just about 10 o'clock when we hit the road. And we had started our day at about 5:30. So it was a full morning already. But yeah, so we hit the road and we didn't have any problems on the way over. Traffic was fine. We stopped for lunch. There's this cooler fruit stand, and I remember it being much nicer than it was. And we thought we'd stop there and get a bite to eat, and there was nothing there. Nothing like lunchy. We thought there'd be a little sandwich stand or something. Absolutely nothing. So we ended up eating at the gas station, chicken strips and cruddy hamburgers with no toppings type thing at the gas station. But, we all survived. It's not like any of us are starving to death, that's for sure. So, but we made it to Seattle probably 3:30-ish. Right, it wasn't like, it was just the beginning of rush hour. So not terrible rush hour yet. And got to the hotel, no problem. Got checked in. Decent hotel. It's a subsidiary of a Marriott, and therein caused another little hiccup. So we dropped everybody off and they got settled, and then we had to drop the van off at the airport. So Mr. and I took the van to the airport. Well, that was interesting. So we dropped off the van at the rental drop-off place. And then we're like, okay, there's supposed to be a shuttle back to the hotel. Well, you have to take an airport bus to get you to the airport, which is clear across town from where the rental place is. And I'm sure we went right by our hotel with this airport bus. And because it was a 5-10 minute bus ride. And so we got to the airport, and then we had to go up, over, down, around, back, then, all around to get to the area where the shuttles come and pick you up to take you to the hotels. And so we're waiting, and there's this little phone system. There's like 40 different buses, and so you call this little phone system, and it tells you which your bus is and where you wait. And they're like, okay. So I knew it was a Marriott, and so I'm like, okay, we go wait over here, and we're waiting, and I knew it's going to be a white bus, and it's going to say Marriott. Okay, here comes the Marriott. We jump on it, and we get there, and Mr. says, this isn't the right hotel. And I said, yes, it is. It's the Marriott. No, this isn't the right hotel. So I call my friends. We weren't at the right hotel. There's more than one Marriott. Okay, so it took us to the wrong hotel. So we took an Uber and met him for dinner. Everything was fine. Then we got back to the right hotel. But we were at the Fairfield Marriott. Apparently there's more than one Marriott. So it was a very long day. But anyway, I did some crocheting on the way over, and I finished my bag. So funny thing. So this was the bag that I had started at the Yarny Social, and I think it turned out pretty well. I made mine a little bit bigger because I wanted it to be a project bag. It was supposed to be like a market bag. And it was supposed to be smaller, a smaller market bag. So I turned mine into, I just wanted it to be a small, like a little bag I could carry with me, like I'm working on something, a walking project bag. So a walking project bag, and so smallish, but big enough for a small project. I love the way it turned out. I think it's very, very cute. And I'm working on it, and I knew it was time to do the handle, and I grab up my instructions. Wrong. I had not brought my instructions. I had brought a receipt for something that had got stuck in with my instructions. So I had to fake it. I think I did a pretty good job for faking my handle. I wish I had done something here, but I think it's fine, considering I had no idea what I was doing and I just made it up. Luckily, I had made a couple of market bags to sell at the craft fair. So that's the only other time I had done a handle. And so I just kind of did that from memory. And I think I did a pretty darn good job doing it from memory. So I did that. And I started on one of my cruise projects, which is this shawl from Selena Baca. It's her, and I don't remember the name of it, but it is one of the shawls that was in my video. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shawl, but I'll tell you what, I will tell you what. I am using this shawl on a ball. I have never used this before. It is absolutely beautiful. And I've got several of them at home. So I pulled the center out, to get that center pull, and I got the yarn bar. What a mess. What a mess. I got a wad of yarn, and it wasn't huge. It was about, this much, as we will do. And it was instantly a giant knot. And it probably took me 2 hours to untangle that giant knot of yarn. I was not pleased, because you can see this stuff is super fine. You can see how fine this is. And it's sort of it's almost a boucle, I don't know how to say that word, but you can see the style of the yarn. It tangles instantly when it touches. So I've got, I'm almost done now. You can still see how much I've got wrapped up here from untangling it. I finally had to find the end and wrap the whole thing up and then unwind it to wind it back around the ball. What a mess. What a mess. And it was hard when I made my chain, it was hard to find the chains. Now that I'm working on the pattern, if you have never worked on shawl on a ball, it's really beautiful working up. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to love this shawl when it's done. You can see that. The pattern is really pretty. But I'm going to recommend, if you've never worked on shawl on a ball, and I'm glad this is the first pattern I've come up with, you need a simple pattern because it's tricky to work with. Luckily, this is a simple pattern. It's a 2-row repeat. And everything that I brought with me to work on, I wanted things that were simple because I'm with my girlfriends and we're going to be sitting around and visiting and chatting. And I did not want to have to be paying attention to things that I'm working on. So this is a good pattern. Once I got past that first row where I had to find and count, I mean, you could look, look at that chain. Just trying to see the chains, you can tell how hard it is to find those chains. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. But I'm past the hard part and I'm working on the shawl part right now. Kind of wish that shawl was wider. Well, no, I guess it'll be okay. But, so I'm working on my first cruise project, and now that I'm past that, I thought I'd be a lot farther along, but I didn't know it was going to take me 2 hours to untangle the knots. And I did rip it a little bit one time because I missed one stitch, and it was not bad to rip. So it rips out nicely, it frogs nicely, and it works up nice. I thought it was going to be splitty. It is not. My hook, I'm using my Furls hook, and this particular Furls hook, more so than a lot of them, it's brand new. So that is probably part of the problem. But its head is really sharp. And you can see right there how sharp that head is. And it does, wow, it is really sharp. And it catches the stitches a little bit. But that's because of the head, not anything else. I may switch to a different hook just because of that. Now, if I was working on different yarn, that would be wonderful. If I was working with this, it would have been wonderful to have that grab. But on this yarn, it's just a little catchy. And especially because see how it's got this second bit, where am I? It's got this second bit of sparkly yarn in there. It does tend to catch on that sometimes. I don't know, I might grab a different hook. What is it? I'm using an I. I'm using my 5.5, and I do know I packed pretty much all of my sizes. I packed a Furls and a Clover because you know how it is with yarn fibers. Sometimes they like the Furls, sometimes they like the Clover. And I did not want to get in that position. So I'm pretty sure I have a size two hooks in both sizes, or 2 hooks in both brands, just because of the fiber issues. And I think the Clover would work really well with this because it's got that nice slick head, but it's more rounded. I might do that. We'll see. So I've gotten a head start. This morning, we are, in fact, in about an hour, we grab a shuttle and head to the ship. I will do what I can. I'm not going to have internet once we're on the ship to do videos. I'm going to be able to do the occasional email, but I won't be able to do videos. So this is it. I'm going to try really, really hard to get this up and posted while we're still at the hotel. So I've got about an hour. So this is it. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. If I have the opportunity, I'll do a pop-up live where I can. Sometimes while the ship is still in port, it allows us, we can kind of pick up local internet. And so I'll do a pop-up live from the ship this afternoon before we take off, if I can, okay? We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye-bye, bye-bye-bye. Please like, please subscribe, share this out. Talk to you later, bye.